Hello everyone, my name is Larry Maloney. I'm the unofficial ambassador from the Hacker Dojo. So I apologize for doing this presentation in English. It's my first language, Bulgarian is my second. So, moje bulgarski ne dobre. So I'm a software engineer, been in the business for over 25 years. Worked for companies like IBM, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and other startups. Right now I have a couple startups I'm working on, computers, NASC, Silicon Valley Space Center, and IX Systems. I'm also a graduate of something called the Founder Institute. It's an accelerator for startups. Learned a lot of good stuff that I want to share with you and help you with your startups today. Also, I'm one of the early founders. Well, I'm not a founder, I'm an early member of the Hacker Dojo when there were just a group of people like yourselves. And now we have over 300. Bulgaria and I go back a ways. Since '95, I had some friends I started working with at IBM and developed a friendship and started a company bringing Bulgarians over to the US. And I married my wife in 2002, so I've been half Bulgarian for about 10 years now, and I've been to your beautiful country on 3 trips. There's my contact information. It's at the bottom of the page. It's a little hard to read, but hopefully you'll get the presentation later and you can use that link. Just to show you, I'm not going to try to pitch my startup, but this is a screenshot of my startup. It's computers, it's a computer system for kids, it's an operating system that goes on a device. Kids can play games, they can surf the internet safely. I've kind of had to put this startup on the back burner, as we say, to work on other things. By the way, if my speaking is too difficult, am I talking too fast, you need me to clarify, feel free to interrupt and ask me to, okay? So Hacker Dojo, what's the dojo? Dojo is a hackerspace just like this place. We started off in 2009. It's a great place for startups. Employees come to the dojo usually after hours, and we have events just like this one at the dojo. We have 1,500 square meters of space. We started off with 1 building, and then we acquired 4 more. We're not, we don't own the buildings, but we're renting them out, and we're doing all kinds of cool stuff like co-location. We're working on a metal workshopping lab, all kinds of cool stuff. And of course, we're located in Mountain View, California, which is Silicon Valley. The dojo, just like here, you can run your startup. You can collaborate. That's the great thing about a hackerspace, right? Everyone can work together, learn from each other. We have, I got a quick tour here of the Init Labs. It's a little bit similar. We have co-working spaces where people can, basically a butt saves the seat, and you get a cubicle that you can set for the day if you're using it, but once you leave, it's available. We also have great internet access. The dojo now has fiber optic network connection right into, it's called Palo Alto Internet Exchange. It's the old school internet where everything started in Palo Alto. So we've got a really good connection now. We also have Wi-Fi access points that are Cisco, so they're commercial grade. They're really good. Of course, for startups, you can collaborate, build your teams, host and attend events, offer classes for people. So who makes up the dojo? We've got 5 directors. It's a board of directors structure. And then there's 10 volunteers, approximately, people like myself who don't take any money. We just donate our time to fix things or help run things. We started off with 30 members, but now we have 300. There's startups that work there day and night, 24/7. We also have technology workers, people who come after hours from their jobs. And of course, event attendees, people who just show up to listen to an event. Just a quick sales pitch. I took this out of another slide, so don't expect you all to run to Mountain View and get a membership. But it costs $100 a month. We have electronic access. We've got an RFID key. You just swipe the lock and it lets you in. By the way, I love your access with the phone number. You call the phone and it buzzes the door. That is badass, man. You should sell that, right? Events is a big deal. Sorry. Members use the dojo as a venue to create the events. So let's say you want to do a Java programming class, you invite people. It's free of charge for people who want to attend. And then when they come to the class, they get a quick pitch about the dojo. You always want to talk about Init Labs, when you have an event, so everyone knows what it is, and then they'll come back. A nice thing about membership is that any member can attend any event, right? So, let's say I want to charge, $10 or something for someone to attend. That would be for an outsider, someone who doesn't have a membership at the dojo. But members can attend the event for free. So we don't charge members for any events. There's no contracts, so you can come and go as you like. And we now have 24/7 access. So any day of the week, any hour, you can just show up, swipe your card, your RFID tag, and you're in. Okay, so the font's going to be a little bit smaller here. Now we want to get into some of the lessons that we learned about building the dojo. I'm sure some of this will be common sense to you, but maybe you'll find a golden nugget that will help you expand Init Labs. So we started off with 30 members, which is a critical mass. You had to have just enough people to get some money together, some volunteers together to build the hackerspace. It was very important to provide good Wi-Fi access. It seems like you've got that here, so good job. When visitors come, a lot of them ask, oh, this is a hackerspace, hackers, you guys are breaking in computers. No, of course not, right? Always got to explain to them, hacker is someone who hacks something open, they break it, they learn how it works, and put it back together again. So it's important that you guys make sure anyone act confused about a hacker, tell them what it is, be upfront about it. Having a good central location is important. I think you've got that here. You're in Sofia, close to Indica. You've got public transit. Your space is pretty usable. I think you're going to need to get maybe some more space. I saw the co-working space you got downstairs, but you're going to need to think about that as you grow to either clean out this whole apartment building or I want Indica, man. I want to do Indica. I love that place. Your core volunteers, people, you need to step up to the hackerspace and make sure you commit your time and help out. And you always want to, make sure that everyone knows that they're open to volunteer and help out. We do a lot. I don't see signs here, but we have like signs all over the dojo, like, the toilets can be cleaned, whenever you feel like it, things like that. Corporate sponsorship. This is really important, and you want to assign someone dedicated to getting corporate sponsorship, and delegate that task out. Have them call, whatever technology companies are here in Sofia, and see if they're willing to be sponsors of Init Labs. And it doesn't have to be anything permanent. It can be for an event, or it could be your Wi-Fi, your internet access is sponsored by your access provider, right? And they give you free access, whatever. Just have someone dedicated to getting that sponsorship. Your space should be enticing for new members. When they come here, they want to, you got to have cool stuff to see. I don't know what, we have like a giant koosh ball. We have an airplane that's upside down hanging from the rafters. We got a bike rack. You've got a CNC shop with, a lathe. So, it has to be kind of cool. Let's see, bad apples. You're always going to get people who make problems, right? They're going to be weird or stupid or just plain crazy. And one bad apple ruins a barrel. So if you sense someone who's bad, you want to kind of ostracize them or tell them they're uninvited, right? Let's see, stick to your core values, your core technology. We had a problem with some events where people would come in and sell books or real estate, whatever. We stopped that real quick. We want to have events that are just come on in, technology core, technology related. Rich virtual communications. I think you probably have that, right? You got your LinkedIn, Facebook, Google Groups.
Yeah, Google Plus.
Google Plus, excellent. All right. So, I would recommend that you let your ex-members keep their IDs and participate. That way they feel included and they can always come back. Good space, good net. Okay, we covered that. Keeping your neighbors happy, right? We've got neighbors too, and we kind of upset them a bit because we'll have an event with 500 people will show up, all the parking's gone. So the local businesses would get kind of pissed off that we took all their parking spaces. So it's good to keep your neighbors happy. And network with people within your hackerspace and without. Wherever you go, be ready to talk about init labs and invite them to come and visit. Okay, suggestions for growth. Always build your membership. You always want to be building. If you're not growing, you're dying. So that's rule number one. Always grow your membership. Okay, we're going to get into some, you can all read that. Media hacking. You want to talk to the local media. Have stories prepared that you can talk about. Whether you got some funding for a project or a startup, they want to hear about it. So make sure you reach out to your network and whatever media sources you have to get television, newspaper, whatever stories you can get out there to talk about init labs and the success that people have at init labs. You'll know you're doing the right thing when one news outlet picks up a story from another news outlet that kind of goes viral. Hackathons, it's good to have hackathons. You want to do those on a periodic basis. We have something called Super Happy Dev House. That's kind of how the dojo started. It was a group of friends hanging out at their apartment. Every couple weeks, 6 weeks or so, they'd get together and start programming on projects. Pretty soon they had 400 people show up. We filled up Sun Microsystems building, and the founder, David Weekley, said, hey, this is awesome. Why don't we do this 24 hours a day? Come see me about setting up a team, and we'll put together the Hacker Dojo. And that's how it started. Know a hacker. Hackers have a t-shirt, right? They got a backpack with a laptop. Wherever you're out, bookstores, school, whatever, if you don't know that hacker yet, get to know them, talk to them, invite them back to init labs, because really the heart of the hacker culture and hacker space is the people that make it up. So the more people you have, the richer and more value you have in your hacker space. Make sure you go to other events, specifically technology events. You had the startup weekend recently. I'm sure many of you might have gone to that. Make sure you network and connect with all the people that you can to tell them about init labs. Put up flyers at universities and high schools. My brother here, Valentin, what high school did you go to? You graduated?
2S, Luknos,
So that's a high school, focused on programming and computers. So you guys need to get over there and talk to the teachers and tell them about init labs so the students can come here and check it out and learn and participate, as well as your local university. And all of you know about hackerspaces and hacker culture, but a lot of kids and other people don't. So they're not connected to the Borg network yet. They haven't been assimilated. So you got to go out there and assimilate them. Open house. This is one of my favorite things that I personally do at the Hacker Dojo. Every month or so, I'll have an open house, and it's free, right? So anyone can come and visit and get a tour and use the facilities. And believe it or not, people will read the events page and see that there's an open house, and they'll come to it, without anything else. So it doesn't cost you anything, and I encourage you to use it. Events. Now, I'm not sure if you guys charge for events, if they're all free. How does events work here? Can someone tell me?
Well, if it's a lecture or something, it's usually free. And if it is a course, some kind of training or something, it might be free, but it might be paid. But for members, it is usually free.
Okay, good. All right, perfect. So we got the same deal at the dojo. And for your free events, encourage as many people as you can. This might be a little expensive for you, but I haven't convinced the directors to do this at the dojo yet. It's $35 a month, but get an account on meetup.com. It's a great way to get people to your events. Maybe you guys have something else in Bulgarian Cyrillic. Is there anything like Meetup? No?
There are some websites, but not mature enough. Yeah.
Facebook is better.
Okay. What about Eventbrite? Does anyone use Eventbrite?
It's
Yeah,
used
occasionally.
in Bulgaria, but we don't use it for events.
Yeah,
It's
Event.
manager.
Yeah.
For start smart events, we always go through Eventbrite.
Okay. So Eventbrite and Facebook are good for people who are within your networks and who know, but if they're outside, they don't know about it. The nice thing about Meetup is people are trolling, looking for events to attend to all the time. So it might be something you can experiment with, get a Meetup account and advertise some events here at Init Labs to get people in. Yeah, we talked about this already. Make sure your space is interesting for visitors. Software. We've got tons of software on GitHub. If you don't know, go out and look at it. You're free to download it, try it out, use it if there's anything there. Please steal it. Okay, let's talk a little bit about hacking Bulgaria. Bulgaria's got a lot of problems, right? I mean, this is my third visit here, and everyone's got something to complain about. If you're not ducking the dog shit on the sidewalk, you're stepping on the blocks that got water on it, and it squirts all over your leg, right? But you know, some things have improved. On my last visit, I saw a lot of cars on the streets, on the sidewalks mostly, and garbage in a lot of places. But a lot of it's gotten cleaned up. It looks really nice. But Bulgaria needs a can-do attitude, right? In America, we've got the can-do attitude. No matter what, you can do it. So Bulgaria needs more of that, and startups and hackers can provide that. You guys can lead your country and culture and showing people that you can do things. Having a positive attitude, just do it. Don't let negative people or negative things get in your way. Don't listen to friends or family that have, they want to dissuade you or, criticize you for doing a startup or doing something. Just do it. Ignore them. Building startups improves Bulgaria. So if you've got a business and you've got an idea and you make a startup, it's going to help your country. So make sure you do it. If you build your startup, investors will start to pay attention and they'll come. They will invest. Bulgaria's business should be business itself. Okay, now that's the end of that presentation, but I've got something more for you. Give me just a second. All right, so we're going to get a little bit more into startups now, if you don't mind. Are we good for time? Everyone's all right? All right, so what I've done here, I've put together some select goodies to help you with your startups. This is kind of an acceleration program. Acceleration is where typically you'll go to an entity and pay them to teach you how to make your startup more successful. Typically, startups that don't go through an accelerator have about a 2% chance of getting funding. Startups that do go through an accelerator program have about a 40 to 50% chance of funding. So some of this will definitely help you. Number one, when you want to do your business, research it. Research as much as you can. Know your market size, your competition, how big is your market. Generally speaking, the rule of thumb is you want to have a $10 billion sized market. I think, who was telling me about, they have a phone startup, and it's the mobile market's about $1 trillion. Yeah, it's $1 trillion, right? It went from, what, was it 3 to 1 in 6?
And it's slowing.
Right. It's reducing. Ideally, you want a growing market, but I think the mobile's kind of...
Depending on what you're looking for.
Right. Okay. So the general rule of thumb is 10 billion. It needs to be growing, and you do your research. Name. Select a good name. Generally, you want a phonetically spellable name. You want to keep it under 7 characters. Team. You got to have a good team. You're going to be working 24 hours a day. So if you can work together without killing each other for that much of time, then you're good. Otherwise, the team needs to be fixed. You got to kick somebody out, or lay down the law. Something has to be fixed. You need to have technical types in your startup. You can't have all business types. That's just that's a formula for fail, man. Just don't do that. You at least got to have one or more technical founders. I think we have some experience in that, right? Product. With all other things aside, always build your product. You need to have a prototype, and you can do that without a lot of money. You can just work on nights, weekends. You know, don't go to the coffee shop so much. You know, you don't even have to get funding or create your company. Just build a prototype, get a product going. Entity formation. Now, this is the breaking point. Typically, what happens, you've got, you know, a prototype, you've got a team assembled, and when the rubber meets the road is when you form the company and you agree to terms with your teammates, how much equity everyone gets, and if you can't get incorporated, then, you know, with everyone agreeing, then, you know, you're not going to have a company. Investors have to have an entity to invest in, you know, a corporation, whatever. They have to have some way they can get shares for their money. I have an executive summary I'm going to show you. Don't worry about making a business plan with complex charts and all that crap. Just a one-sheet executive summary that will explain pretty much everything an investor wants to know about your company, so you can hand it out. I've got an example of that. I'll provide that later. Funding. Here in Bulgaria, I think you can get away with a lot less funding than in the States. It's called seed or angel funding, which is generally 50 to 500K. Equity. Generally, terms for equity, you're going to have mentors and advisors, people who are going to provide their input to your company. You want that to be about half of 1% to 0.75%. Your employee pool, what the employees get, is going to be between 10 and 20%. And the investors will generally buy 20 to 40%. Try to keep 50 plus for yourself, so that, or the founding team, so that you can maintain control as long as possible. Don't get diluted. Dilution is when you have a number of shares issued, the investors come in, and then they want to issue more shares, and that lowers your value, the number of shares that you have. So make sure your contracts, you're protected from dilution. We can talk more about that later, but if you have, do you guys have like legal companies, law firms that specialize in startups, writing contracts for startups?
No.
No?
There are, actually
Yeah?
there are a couple of funds that are specializing in this.
Funds or
Funds.
law firms?
No funds.
Funds, currently there are no companies that do that especially, but
They're
also
also
But actually they are not into angel investing. They come on, I guess you could go around to.
Huh, interesting. Okay. Okay. Let's see, let me get down here. ABC, always be selling. You know, always be prepared to talk about your startup. You want to have a 30-second pitch, you know, real fast, real quick. Talk about your business, you know, the market size, what the product does. You know, don't try to be charming or funny or cool. Just stick straight with business and ready to go. Only hire A people. Maybe you guys have, was it 6 is the highest grade you get in school? Okay, maybe hire 6 people. A is the best grade you can get in the US. So, you know, you want top quality people in your company, and that's really what makes up a company, right, is people. So, you know, don't settle for second best. You know, get the best people you can find. If you can't find them, then just wait and keep looking. You don't want to hire average people. That will destroy your company. Okay, let's talk a little bit about your country. All right, get a little political, just a little bit here. So if you're going to be building a startup and a company, you're building something that has value. And you need to be able to keep that. In order, you know, wealth is not making it or you know, how much you save, it's how much you can keep. So if you've got a government that just takes whatever you make, you know, that's why build anything. So I would encourage you, I would challenge you to get involved in your local politics, your local government. I read a story recently of your newly elected mayor, the lady. She changed the priority of the city so that to stop the begging children on the street, the Roma children. And you know, in 2008, I got hit all the time on the street with the kids. I feel sorry for them. You know, I know the deal. You can't give them money because it's just feeding the gypsy pimps, right? But now there's not very many, and I haven't really seen any. So, you know, I think she's done a good job, and I would encourage you all to try to get involved. I know you're skeptical. I know you're, you know, pessimistic about it, but you're the new generation. You're leading this country, right? The old is dying off, and you really have a chance to make things happen. So don't get pessimistic. Get involved. I read about your political parties. It's kind of interesting, right? Yeah, I understand you now have a center-right party. You know, full disclosure. You know, I'm a right person on political scale. But I don't think your parties talk about the right things. They don't talk about money. Money is what's important, right? It's not who has rights, who doesn't. You know, it's where does the money go? Where does the money flow? You know, who's getting the corruption? So you need a government with, you know, small, simplified taxes, you know, little spending as possible. You know, fire the bureaucracy. Let them go work for the companies that you're going to build, right? You know, fight corruption. Don't ever give into it. You know. There are good people in government. You just have to find them and work with them. Don't let any of the corrupt jerks mess around with you. If you've got a problem, just go around it. You know, you're hackers. You know, that translates into the real world as well, not just in the virtual. Right? If you need to build a company and you're having a problem incorporating here in Bulgaria, maybe you can incorporate somewhere else. I don't know all the details, but the point is to navigate and go around the problem. For your startups, you need to, I'm sorry, I'm going to jump back a little bit. You need to focus on big markets. Bulgaria is a small country. You have, what, 7 million, 8 million people. It's just 6? Oh.
No, it's not 6. A bit above 7, but we're shrinking.
Okay.
But 2 million and a half are over 60.
All right.
So
All right.
you can imagine.
Right. So it's
like a million gypsies.
Yeah. So now it's really like 3 million people who are realistically you can sell to, right?
Yeah.
So that's not big enough market for you guys. You need a big market. You need the European market, the American market. So when you're building your businesses, I apologize, I don't mean to offend, but you know, it can't be just Cyrillic. You know, make sure you got the English button and the Cyrillic button so that people can see your website or your product in English. And you know, sell, you know, make sure you sell to other markets, not just to Bulgaria. Some good things about Bulgaria for business. I think there's opportunities for exporting products and exporting services. And infrastructure. For example, I got some crazy ideas. Something I would love to do is cloud computing here in Bulgaria, building a data center. Problem with data centers is not the real estate. Well, now you can get pretty cheap commercial real estate. Sofia has great internet access. That's not a problem. The real problem is power, electricity, the cost of electricity. You guys have some nuclear reactors, I understand, that provide pretty cheap power. So it's possible to build a very cheap data center here. Let's see, there's a big market for enterprise iPhone apps and Android apps. Everyone's building, you know, these stupid personal apps that like make a fart sound or, you know, cock a shotgun, whatever. But something that's missing, and I think it's going to grow, is enterprise apps. Apps for businesses, you know, whatever, you know, use your imagination. Let's see. Oh yeah, if anyone wants to export Burgas beer, let me know. Love that beer, man. I can't find it here in Sofia. Some technical advice, things that you should learn in order to be ahead of the curve. Python, Java, HTML. Native app building on your iPhone and Android. Cloud computing is big. I don't know if you guys are doing it yet, but you need to move to the cloud and be on the cloud. Big data is big. This is where you take large databases and mine them and do analysis on them. I recommend you monitor the events at the Hacker Dojo. There's an events list, and you'll see what's going on at the dojo so that you can learn about it and be prepared. Because if it's happening there, it's going to be happening here in a year or two. Let's see. Let's see if I got anything else. Okay, that's it. All done. Questions?
About the events in the Hacker Dojo, do you have live streaming or something? I mean, can we follow them?
I wish we did. You guys are more advanced than the dojo because you've got the mic, you got the camera, and you're doing the streaming. No, it's the thing. You know, you have to have someone who's willing to spend their time on it. Usually, the event, the hosts, the people doing the event, they don't take the time, or they don't have the technical skills to set up a projector or a camera and a mic. So we don't have it. We can't stream it. There's been a few events where they've had like game-a-thons where they would stream, but that's not very useful for learning something, right? Unless you want to break a level or whatever. Next question. Yeah.
What do we do if somebody steals our idea? So suppose we have a startup, we've gone a bit far, but someone comes with a lot of money and makes a big company that does that. What can we do about it?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a big fear with founders in Silicon Valley as well. And the general rule of thumb is just be faster. First to market. The thing is you can't hold back and hide everything that you want to do. You need to talk to people about it. So the rule is don't give up your secret sauce, right? Talk about generally the business, but if you have an algorithm implementation or some kind of vendor that you've got a special deal with that you can lock up an agreement or something, just don't talk about that, right?
Okay.
Next question.
You mentioned something about bad apples. Can you get into more details? I mean,
Absolutely.
what
I'll give you
kind
some
of
examples.
problems? Yeah.
Okay, I can give you some specific and general examples. We had a guy that was staying at the dojo a little too much. And one day when he was gone, I checked out his cubicle, and he had behind a bookshelf stacks of bags with clothes and shoes and all kinds of stuff. And he was like living at the dojo. So, that's not allowed, and we had I cleaned him out and put his stuff outside and gave him a ride to wherever he wanted. So that's one example. We had another guy that was walking around the dojo. This is recently, actually. He was walking around the dojo like all the time, like every hour, like he was on patrol or something. I couldn't quite figure it out. So I asked the community, I sent out an email to everyone like, what's the deal with this dude? And oh, that's Mark. He's cool. He's all right. I'm like, are you sure? He's kind of sketch. So it turned out Mark was stealing from the donation box. He was taking money from the donation box. They noticed that the donation box was running kind of low. Usually it like fills up real fast, but it was running really low. So they put up security cameras, caught the guy on videotape, called the cops, arrested his ass. Now, of course, he's banned from the dojo. So generally speaking, someone who wants to like come in and they may like a volunteer who has a lot of energy, a lot of ideas is great. But if they start to interfere, if they like take over the discussion all the time and want to like do things their way constantly, and they don't get along with the group, it's not conducive to building the space. I mean, everyone's going to disagree on things, but if someone always has to have it their way, then it's just not going to work. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. Next question.
When did you have any problems with the authorities? Actually, did you have any problems with the authorities? And what are your communications? I mean,
Yes.
there should be some kind of a relationship.
So, what do you mean in some kind of relationship?
You are quite a big place with quite a lot of people, and probably some of them might be criminals. So. And then, speaking about the hackers, people who are not hackers don't know what hacker means. So, when lots of people come to that place and something happens like stolen bank accounts or something like that, you don't have problems with that.
No, not at all. No, not at all.
Nobody
About big
drugs
events, about big events with lots of people and these people get out of the place at some point and no problems?
There's been little problems, but not generally not that bad. So to go back to your first question, yes, Dojo is big enough to have some issues with the local government, be the mayor. I think you guys have the same thing in Mountain View. There were building permit requirements that were not followed, fire code requirements. For example, the dojo, as big as it is, you can only have 45 people in the dojo at one time because there aren't doors that swing open the right way, or there's not enough exits. There's no fire alarms, right? We had to install that. It cost like $100,000 to get $100,000 to get all this stuff installed. So we had permits, limited use permits that allow us to ignore the fire codes, but eventually we were able to get the money together to buy it. So the main problem has been fire code violations. So you get a party with 300 people packed in a space that only 45 are supposed to be in. It can get a little crazy. So yeah, we really haven't had. We've had like a few things stolen here and there, but as long as you use your common sense, put your iPads away or take your stuff with you. Generally, you can leave your stuff around if someone is if you're like in a space where you've got several people that you're working with, you can just say, I'm going for lunch, right? Get up, leave your laptop, and you're going to be safe because they know that it's your laptop, and they would say something. So we've been self-policing ourselves pretty much. So I think we haven't had too big of a problem. Does that answer?
Yes.
I have
Yes,
a question
please.
about that. Because we actually had some problem like that probably 6 or 7 months ago. How do you handle, for example, security-related research? We were doing some research on RFID cards, actually just trying some stuff on it. And we decided to go public with some of it. And it turned out to be a very, very hard thing. Because, okay, working on this, if nobody knows that you're doing it, you're somewhat okay. If some bad people learn that you're doing this, and for example, you can create free cards for the metro station.
An exploit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not that good, and if the problem is that even the good guys, if you can call that the police and everything, if the good guys learn that you're doing this, you're still in shit. And how do you actually do that kind of research? Well, the main problem here is that people are scared to do it. People are scared to show how to break into something, how to fix some problems, that some problems with some systems exist and everything.
Okay, I'm afraid you're getting a little too specific for me here. I think what you're talking about is identifying security exploits in whatever software or systems, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a little more specific than for a hackerspace talk, but generally speaking, how it works is you find an exploit and you contact the company that has the product or service, and you tell them about the exploit. That's supposed to be the right way to do it. Like if you find Windows has got some problem that Symantec is supposed to be protecting. Generally, the person who finds the exploit should contact Symantec directly. But
it's not just software. So, for example, we wanted to. So we usually just show these lectures, for example, from the KS Computer Code Congress. The lecture in which they showed how to actually eavesdrop on GSM phones, just from the and everything with the decryption. And we know that nobody actually wants to try this here, although it's extremely easy.
okay.
Nobody wants to show this, and so, for example, we can't just go and ask the carriers to fix their networks because there are some issues there which can be fixed and make this harder. And the thing is that one of the ways to promote this hackerspace is to make to have fun stuff to do in it. And breaking systems is one of the most interesting things. And it's not. And if you have any idea how to do this without getting the hackerspace shut down.
All right. Well, why not do a startup that doesn't have that exploit? Right? I mean, start a GSM provider that doesn't have that.
No, it's gonna get killed.
That's not funny.
That's not fun.
I suggest you,
Find a scapegoat.
have you ever been to, was it DEF CON? You ever been to DEF CON? Are you familiar with DEF CON?
Similar.
So DEF CON is a hacker event where people get together to talk about exploits like this and what to do about it. I'm not an authority to tell you on how you should handle such issues, so I can't really offer you a suggestion. But
So you don't have any such gray area project?
well, the hackerspace is, the dojo's doesn't have a mission of, of projects for the community to build on, other than projects that help build the community, right? We don't try to build a better GSM system or, try to identify problems that need to be fixed. It's just, building the hacker, it's up to the individual members to do whatever they want, right? So if you want to find an exploit and utilize it somehow, that's your call. It's not the hackerspace's call. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but if you do that in a hackerspace, for example, you find an exploit in a governmental website, and you do that in the hackerspace. If you haven't warned anyone, at some point there is an intrusion coming from init lab to that website.
Yeah, and labs
That's
is
an issue
liable.
for the- yeah,
It is. It is.
That's a problem for the whole hackerspace. So the question
Yes.
is, what do you think can be done beforehand so that the research can be done, can happen, and at the same time it won't be a problem for the hackerspace? I mean, after that.
Actually, the answer is very easy. Just don't do research on
Yeah.
live sites. Don't break the law.
Yeah.
But it's
Yes.
not
Or
breaking
use
the
the
law
process.
just to make
It is
research.
breaking the law, actually. Plus,
Yes.
if we go to that demonstration for interception of GSM conversation, it is breaking the law.
There are parts in the law which say you can do this for an academical research and everything.
Okay, still there are clever ways. There is a basically functioning GSM operator in technical university. Why not use those?
Or go to Starbucks.
Yeah, go to
If you want a good hackerspace, you need to be positive. You need to be doing good things,
Well, that's positive because you find a problem and you propose a fix for that. Because that's just a security research. You are not selling it to someone else, but you find a problem that should be fixed. Because that's your privacy too. You call someone on the phone too. So we're not talking about cracking something and
Sure.
after that selling an exploit or something like that. So yeah, it is for good, but seems like
The problem is that the other party can perceive it as an extortion
yeah,
or racket.
absolutely.
So, if we're talking about if you want to do it, why not just go to them, say, okay guys, I want to do this, I believe I can achieve this, will you allow me to do it?
And they'll say, fuck you.
Have you tried? Have you tried?
They say mine.
Actually, not every time.
Yeah, not every time.
Sometimes they use other words.
If you're successful at doing like he proposes, and you can demonstrate to them, and then you can propose a solution, you've got a startup right there. You can go to all the other providers and say, hey, look, this guy's secure, you're not, let's talk money. That's how you do it. This is a good discussion to have, for your space. So that's how I think.
Basically, keep these projects under
We had a discussion about this, about something else. So you have 300 members right now.
Yes.
Do you know out of how many possible members? I mean, because, okay, we have about 25-30 members right now.
25, 26, 27 levels.
And we don't, the question is, what percentage of the community can you get in the hackerspace? Because you're in the Silicon Valley. So you have mostly technical people there. Mostly people related to that. So, how many people of the community can you get in the hackerspace?
Okay, this would be good to have some numbers on the screen, so I'm going to rattle off some numbers. I apologize. In the San Francisco Bay Area where I live, there is approximately 8 million people, so more than the entire country of Sophia. Silicon Valley proper, which is like South San Francisco Bay Area, is probably about 2.5 to 3 million people. Out of that entire population, there's only 100,000 or so people that are in technology work. Now that means software engineers, system admins, support people, managers, and then when you get down to the core, programmers, it's probably a third of that, 20 to 30,000, really technical programming people. And then from that, you've probably got, the really hardcore people is about 10,000. So we've got 300 out of probably 10,000 people that should be using the dojo.
Yeah, but it's not the only hackerspace.
That's correct. There are other hackerspaces. That's correct.
Actually, how many hackerspaces are there in Silicon Valley?
I don't know. There's one up in San Francisco. I forget their name. And there's another one in Oakland.
But you're the biggest one, right?
Yeah.
Because you say about 10,000 people that are hardcore technical people, and I think here in the whole country we have about 500 or something like that.
Oh, come on. That's BS. Nah.
Okay, probably a few thousand.
You're talking about the hardcore technical people.
Yeah.
Really?
Most of them ran away.
We got thousands, we got tens of thousands of programmers, but these are just coders.
Oh,
I mean,
Why are you looking at me?
because you were asking, but yeah, for sure that we have pretty less.
Yeah.
Let's grow some more.
yeah. Well, Bulgaria has a rich tradition of computer science, computer engineering, right?
Yeah.
The Soviet Union had you guys as the official source of.
So the propaganda reached you, right?
Well, I have at home my annual edition of IEEE Computing Society that has an article about the first computer hard drive made in 1948. It was created by a Bulgarian computer scientist. It's actually a magnetic drum. Like the old-fashioned drums that have the metal fingers that hit the notches. But what he did was design a drum with magnetic storage. So as it rotates, you could read and write storage. It's like the first hard drive. It came from you guys. Right. Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll show you.
Was it made in Bulgaria?
Yes, of course. Of course.
In Bulgaria.
48.
Fuck no.
That's what IBM built.
Okay,
how they built the hard drive.
It is probably made by some guy working in United States, but not here in
In 1948, it's pretty much not possible.
Yeah.
They're mostly killing people, so.
Okay. I'll have to provide you some evidence. No problem.
Do you have any relationships with other hackerspaces, making some events together?
So yeah, there is the unofficial relationship with other hackerspaces. It's kind of like a backdoor thing where people will get together and have a beer and talk about their plot to take over the world, right? I don't think it has a name, but yeah, they get together and kind of plan things out and talk. So yes.
Speaking for other
I'm looking at you, is that okay?
Yeah. Don't look at me when you're speaking about hardcoders.
Okay.
There is another hackerspace in Varna which are watching right now. Someone there.
Hey, Varna! Woohoo!
And they're asking if you are coming this summer to there.
Oh, they're asking me?
Yeah, if you are visiting.
There is a sea.
Yeah.
You can go to the beach.
The Black Sea.
And
sunny
the
beach.
idea,
Buy me an airplane ticket and I'll come. That's good. No, unfortunately, sorry. I'm leaving tomorrow to go back to the States, so I apologize. I can't come this summer, but maybe next summer. Of course, any of you are invited, including Varna, to come to the States and visit the dojo anytime you like.
Just buy
If you need an invitation or I need to write it or something, just let me know. No problem.
On the question of corporate sponsorship,
Yes.
what kind of companies sponsor the who should we look for?
Good question. Technology companies?
Yeah, but
What do you offer them?
what do you mean by a technology company?
Well, what do you have here in Bulgaria? You got VMware, I know. Tilric, great company, great
We have a
company.
lot of companies who just sell hardware, for example.
Okay.
I don't know if they will. What can we can get them to sponsor us in some way. What can why should they do that? What because would the
So
hackers give them?
in exchange for that, you want to say on your website, sponsored by company XYZ. If you have an event and they're hosting, sponsoring the event, a great thing to get companies to sponsor our events, like to pay for food or drink, just have a sign that says sponsored by. That's it.
Is this enough?
Yeah. It's more than enough. The companies are actually eager to do sponsorships because they get a relationship with you. They might need employees, right? They get to know you guys and they can find out, hey, let's hire whomever from the community.
Actually, I believe this is the mode that will work in Bulgaria, because it's quite hard to, as an employer, to find the right people.
Here they are. Look at them. And Varna too.
We are no startups here. Don't want to work for it.
Are there corporate members in Hacker Dojo?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Kind of corporate members.
Corporate members. Oh, okay. We've got Google, Microsoft, LinkedIn, IX Systems. I think Facebook might have sponsored us one time.
So, apart from money, are they doing something else? as
Yes,
members?
absolutely. When we first started, we had a DSL connection for the internet. It sucked. And Google, out of the graciousness of their heart, they set up a kick-ass wireless network. They put an antenna and a radio on our roof and had a direct link to Google. So we had a direct connection to Google wirelessly. It wasn't Wi-Fi. It was a dedicated wireless network, and it works great. So they paid for it. They installed it, and we use that in tandem with the DSL connection. And frankly, the Google network was always on when the DSL was not always on. So that's one way. IX Systems, a company I'm working with right now, they make hardware, they make servers, open source servers. They donated some really kick-ass servers for the data center at the dojo to help run the network. So they donated that hardware. And they got a little, icon on the front page of the website, servers donated by, sponsored by IX Systems. So, yeah.
So these look like single-time donations. For example, the Google network, do you pay the monthly fee?
No, they gave it to us for free, and Google was happy. We didn't have to splash Google on all the time. They were just eager to get the community going and invest in it. Who provides your ISP here?
Actually, our internet service provider gave us internet for free after we asked. So we currently use Spectranet, and they give us internet for free. Yet it is a cheaper one, but yet it is free, and it is okay for us, at least for now. But as we are expanding, at least yet another floor, we might need something more.
Right.
But we get that for free, at least that.
Excellent. There you go.
Yeah.
What's your biggest sponsor package? Like $1,000, $5,000?
Well, it's hard to say. I haven't been involved with all the sponsorships, but someone donated about $40,000 to install the dojo is in a warehouse, essentially. It's a commercial warehouse, but there's no insulation. So it got really hot in the summer and really cold in the winter. but we got some money donated for installing insulation and a better cooling and heating system. So it's about
We need healing.
Absolutely cooling.
Okay, I have two quick questions.
Please.
First, you mentioned something about an executive summary
Yes.
and an example of that.
Yes.
Is it possible for you to show it?
Yeah, would anyone else like to see it? Let me see if I can find it. I was going to provide it later, but nope, no problem. I have to dig for it real quick here. Give me a second.
Can you tell more about this folder, user home rules?
I'm sorry?
It's
It's FreeBSD. Yeah, FreeBSD keeps the stuff in user home. And the user is root.
Okay, so this is, show you the overall, how it looks. Well, this should be all on one page. But let me see if I can fix it real quick. There we go. So this is the executive summary. It's one page, right? One page tells you about your business. Here you got on the left, you got the block, talks about your company name, who the management is, who makes up the company, who's advising the company, who's a part of the advisory board, what your industry is, mine's child computing, approximate number of employees, how much money you're looking for, and what you're going to do with the funds, right? Product development, working capital, infrastructure. Here, mission, computer for every child. Business description, provide a computer designed for children, low cost, no IT work for parents, easy and fun for children to use. Makes money through licensing software to OEM, subscription fees. So real short, don't talk about it. Really, you have to edit it and revise it, get it down short and tight. It could be 2 words if you want, but as long as it's informative. Talks about the company background. More detail about the products and services, technologies that's being used. And then here's what the investors are going to want to know, right? Markets, how big the market is. For this business, families in the U.S. with children, ages 3 to 13, you want to be specific. You don't want to say consumers, right? Specifically, what kind of consumers? Well, they're going to be children, 3 to 13. There's 19 million families in the U.S. There's 44 million children in that age group, right? That's a nice sized market. Revenue model is freemium subscription. You can give the software for free. And then license the software to OEMs who want to put it on their computers. This is a technical term for size, but by year 4 there should be $110 million in sales. Additional sub-markets include, these are segments of the market. Homeschoolers, these are children that stay at home, they don't go to a public school. Christian and Muslim families that have high low social tolerances, right? They want to filter porn and stuff like that. Families that are looking for early training, education for children. Then talk about the distribution channel. Is going to work with Amazon or other retailers to sell the product on, the software on a device. Then competition. You're always going to have a competition. It's BS if you tell an investor, oh, there is no competition. There's always some form of competition. So those are a list of the competitors, what their websites are, a comparison between what I'm offering and what the competitors are offering. And then a simple financial projections. You want to go out 4 years, and you've got your revenue and your operating income. That's pretty much what your profit is expected to be. So you just need to go out 4 years. And generally speaking, you want it to be a hockey stick. because no one wants to invest in a company that's going to lose money in 4 years. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
And the second one is just a few days ago, new co-working space officially opened here in Sofia. You know about that?
Yeah.
House?
Yeah, Beta House, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have any comments on that? Any impressions? And maybe how should the init labs cooperate or fight with this?
The wannabes at Beta House?
Yeah.
The wannabe hackers? No, I'm kidding, Beta House. So no, this is a healthy ecosystem, right? So the way it is going to work, I guarantee you, people will come here to Init Labs. They will bootstrap their startup on, as we say in the U.S., on ramen noodles and sweat, right, with nothing. And then they might get some investments. They'll get a team together, and they need to expand. So then they'll go, migrate out of Init Labs and go to a co-working space, whether it's Beta House or it's the co-working space that Init Labs is setting up downstairs. But you should try to build a healthy relationship because it's a small community, even in the valley and the dojo. So I wouldn't look at them as enemies, but frenemies. Friends close, but your enemy's closer, right? No.
So your view the Hacker Dojo is something not like a co-working space. It's something different.
No, the dojo is clear to try to avoid providing the co-working space solution because it's a lot of work. There is an expectation of service, right? I get my desk, I have my internet, I have my phone. Don't fuck with me. I just want to work, right? In a hackerspace, you want to have collaboration. You want to interact. You're not going to get that at a co-working space, unless people make friends and quietly try to talk to each other. But the whole idea of a hackerspace is to collaborate and work together. You're just not going to get that at a co-working space.
In off hours, collaboration after work, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay. Next.
Can you say something about the hardware? Do you have some place where people can go and do some real stuff like 3D printers or?
Yes, we have a. Let's see if I can get online real quick without annoying everybody. The dojo has a. Oh, shit. Let's fix that right now. Just a second. Almost there, guys. Follow me inside and I'll give you a tour. My name is Larry Maloney. I'm a member here at the Hacker Dojo, and I'll give you a tour of our facility and explain how the Hacker Dojo works. So the dojo is a community workspace. It's a place away from the office and the home that you can come and work at and work on whatever your project is. It might be an amateur project for yourself, like a hobby, or it could be a startup that you want to work on. It's a great place to do that kind of activity. We have 8,000 square feet that I'm going to show you. Plenty of public and private workspaces you can work at. Free Wi-Fi, it's not password protected. We do have a password protected AP for members. And it's a great place to work at. So let me show you around. This is the front lobby. This is where we receive visitors and members. We have a sign-in computer. When you first come to the dojo, you'll sign in right here. When you become a member of the dojo, you get a handy little RFID key, and then you can swipe it, and then you'll be logged in onto the system. Also, you can use this key to get in the front door. It will unlock the dojo. And we've got a lock right here that will unlock the door. We have these LED signs that are programmable, and those will explain what's going on at the dojo. We also have a kiosk machine. This will tell you who's currently at the dojo and volunteering, like myself, to help visitors. And we have a schedule of events. Dojo's a great place to have events. This will show you the time, date, and a description of the event. Up here we have the service providers board. You can put your business card and let everyone know what services you provide. And we have a jobs board. Lots of people have gotten work from the dojo. Startups can put their requirements here, and people can come and look for work. For you BSD folks out there, all the computer systems here are running BSD. This is the lobby area. It can get a little noisy here, but it is a good place to work, to socialize as well. We have a library right back here. All kinds of great programming books, language books. We've got the classics, art of computer programming, pretty much everything you want. Startup books, engineering books. And it's a nice little library to hang out. We ask that you don't take the book home. Just use it while you're here at the dojo. Follow me through here. The restrooms. And here is the kitchen. Kitchen is available for everyone to use. We have free coffee and tea. You can roast your own coffee beans, grind them up, have some great coffee. Water hot and cold. We have a roaster oven, toaster oven, microwave, bread machine, rice cooker, crock pot, refrigerator. Everything but a kitchen sink. If you see food laying out like this, you're welcome to partake. If you want to bring your own food, put it in the refrigerator and it will be reserved for yourself. Usually we have people donate stuff, so you just help yourself with the food. Follow me through here. This is the hardware lab. In the dojo, we do not discriminate against hardware hacking, we encourage it. Lots of cool projects go on here. Arduino hacking, people building iPhone and iPad devices. So we have a workbench with a static map, components, resistors, capacitors, transistors, diodes, electronic gates. You pick a part, you use it, we restock it. We have wires, tools, oscilloscopes, microscopes, voltmeters, power supplies, logic analyzers, everything you need to work on a circuit. Right over here we have a robotic CNC machine. Come through here. You can see it. Robotic CNC machine. You can design a part in 3D ModelWorks, create a Gerber file, upload it to the machine, and this will move around and cut it out of wood, plastic, or aluminum. Over here we have a bike rack. Bring your bike to the dojo, hang it right there, nice and safe. Dojo is a drop-in facility. You can't reserve a workspace, and so you can't leave your stuff overnight. But we have lockers, you can put your stuff in there and be nice and safe. Now behind us are these cubbies. These are offices. Hey, that's on the part. You're on camera. This is an office you can work at. Dustin right here. Dustin pays taxes. He's working on his startup, and it's a nice place to have a meeting or sit down and work. The rule is the butt saves the seat. So Dustin's butt is there. He's got a laptop. He can work on whatever he wants. No one can kick him out. If he wants, he can draw on the board. If there's something wrong, he might go off. He can have the
He's made a lot of money
here as well. And we got some extra LCD screens if you want to plug it into the laptop. Get some extra. Now let's talk about events. At the dojo we have these nice big warehouses over here. We've got 2 of them. And at these warehouses, people can schedule this space to use for an event. That's free of charge. That's included in membership. They get on the scheduling system, reserve the time and date that they want to use it, invite whomever they like. It's free for the guests, and it's free to schedule and use for members. Some past events that we've had over here might be a little hard to see. We've had Brain Hacks of Kindness. They organize in order to help people with disaster relief, an Arduino programming class, analog synthesizer meetup, all kinds of events. Today we're having the Meet BSD event. We've got about 100 people, some of the greatest people in BSD
There's
together.
the 3D
Let's
printing.
take a look and see what a conference looks like today. Over here we've got all the people together, organized, talking. in their different subject matters on conference. We do have projectors and a sound system for you to use for your event. And we have some additional offices over there in the corner. I won't get into those right now. Got a Coke machine right there. There you go. This is the upper deck. It's a great place. It's a little quiet, a little intimate. You can reserve this space about 20 or 30 people. Got some nice wood floors, some insulation, and a new cooling system. Couches to relax on. We do have video game nights and movie nights up here. And we even have a DJ turntable if you want to spin it up and do some music. And over here we got a pool table if you want to play some pool. There's the pool table. Good place to have fun. So over here, this is probably the most beautiful part of the dojo. This is the cathedral, we call it. And there's a library down there. The previous company that was here, Paradigm Windows, made glass pane windows for commercial and residential spaces. When they moved, they couldn't take the windows with them, so they left them. And it kind of adds to the ambiance of the dojo. We get to enjoy the beautiful windows. It's kind of unique. Now, let me show you the coolest part of the dojo. Alright guys, coming through for a tour. Hey Nato. Hey ho. Good to see you. So this is the heart and soul of dojo. A lot of startups work here. People working on projects. For example, Nato right there. He's working on a sailbox project. Hopefully he'll get a ride in a rocket and put a CubeSat up in outer space, deploy a solar sail, and have it travel throughout the solar system. So the nice thing about this space is that people can work and collaborate with each other. Unlike a coffee shop or an incubator, you have to keep your head down, you can't really talk to each other. On the network or